Sam, how are you today? Ladies, go. So teammates, a couple things are different about today. Since we only had a couple days this week, we're not going to have community meeting. You will meeting crews to keep working on how to present your MAP data. Because next Wednesday you show parents your test results. 8th graders, would you please pass upstairs? 8th graders. Come on, confused. Your grade has been 6th graders should be gone. 8th graders should be gone.
Without a pleasure.
Guys, you're going to come in today. The do now is, I'll put it up, but it's related to the 3 maps that you're
Who did baby saw?
Is it the maps on the desk that you're doing now? Oh, snap!
Hey, my name is Dave Philhauer. I'm the principal at Two Rivers Middle School. So it's my 3rd year as principal here. I spent 10 years at a sister school up in Columbia Heights, and the middle school is 4 years old, so I've been here just about since the beginning. The vision I have for middle schoolers is that they become active participants in their education. They need to have the basic skills and knowledge, but then use it for good. What am I really trying to do with this information? Am I making a science experiment? Am I talking to a community member? Am I trying to answer a difficult question? So active participants who know something and then use it for the good of the world. So 69% of our students are proficient in both reading and math. We've made a lot of growth in the past few years. Why are they proficient? Great teaching, great parents, great kids. I am definitely personally responsible for the academic growth of every student here. The teachers do the teaching, my dean of students has a role, the director of student supports has a role, but ultimately I'm the principal. I'm in charge of everything. It's like being a conductor of an orchestra. People do different things, but I'm conducting the show. So we have high academic expectations for our students. Ultimately, my expectation is that they're ready for high school, to attend great high schools. Each day, students need to work. They need to work hard, they need to think hard, they need to come prepared to class with their homework, pencils, paper, and then in class, they need to be actively participating in the lesson. I think middle school is when we teach them all those skills. You know some stuff, but middle schoolers don't naturally work hard unless you push them, engage them, make sure that there are positive consequences for working hard, successes, and negative consequences if they don't do their work, because kids need to work hard. I believe that students have to work hard to achieve. Effort matters. We're all born with innate abilities, but unless you work hard to cultivate those abilities, you won't achieve. So all of our students come in with a mixture of innate abilities, and through hard work, through getting feedback from teachers, through taking active participation in their learning, that's how you achieve. Nobody just achieves with no effort. So we have many measures to keep track of students' academic achievement. We have several tests during the year they take that are independent of their classes. So they come in the school year, they take the MAP test in fall and spring to see their growth over time. They take 4 predictors for the DC CAS, the ANET test, to see how they're doing on the DC skills. Teachers have data days, and this is also how I evaluate teachers. We use data days to see how students are doing, how we need to teach, accelerate, or remediate them. And then there's just good old-fashioned quizzes, projects, essays, presentations in class for the material. Whether it's a science lab or a language arts debate or a math test, you have class assessments, and then we have a grader assessment architecture using ANET and MAP. Our basic behavioral expectation is that you work hard. It's connected to the academic expectation. In order to work hard, you have to do a lot of other behaviors that have to be taught if you don't know them. How do I pay attention is an expectation. How do I respond to adults? All teenagers have trouble with that. So we sweat the details here. How we speak to adults. Are we engaged in class? Are we ready for class? Are we on time for class? By sweating the small things and demanding a high level of work, we rarely have large behavioral problems. So we enforce rules in a variety of ways. First and foremost, the rules have to support academic achievement. It's all about student learning. If a student's distracting the class, my dean or I carry a walkie-talkie, we have an electronic referral system, and we pull the student out. We quickly counsel with them, talk to them what was going on. Our goal is to get a student back in class as soon as possible. If it's a larger rule they've broken, there may be a larger consequence. The first step though is to get the student out of class so that everyone else can keep learning. Look at the student's behavioral record, see is this a pattern, and then we have to work with the parents. Nothing works without the parents. So behavior is normally rewarded by the normal things you get. Unlike many middle schools, we have recess. We have a family-style lunch. You get to eat with your friends. You get to play with your friends. That's a normal reward. If you're not well behaved, you don't get those things. We also have spirit days like many schools. We have Friday community meeting. We have honor roll certificates. But these are all normal. Kids like being here. It's a fun school. So basically, enjoy the school. Enjoy recess. Enjoy PE. Enjoy eating lunch with your friends. If you've had a behavioral problem, those logically might be taken away for a day. I wholeheartedly believe that my primary job is the professional development of my teachers. My Dean of Students and Families has other roles that frees me up to spend about 25% of my week planning and delivering professional development for the staff. Every Wednesday, the students dismiss at 1:15 to our YMCA program. Half go to the YMCA downtown, half have YMCA activities here, so that my staff can meet as a whole with the elementary school staff across the street for professional development. There's a variety of professional development activities. One in every 4 or 6 sessions is a data day, using the assessment that we've looked at to see what do students need, who needs acceleration, who needs remediation. At the same time, we also tackle topics like the workshop model. How do I run a classroom that has a variety of activities going on so that students can get just what they need. We also prepare for conferences. Next week is student family conferences. Students are presenting. How am I going to prepare my crew for conferences? When you've got every Wednesday from 2 to 5 o'clock through a whole year, you can develop your staff from good teachers to great teachers. And that's all we have here, are great teachers. As a charter school, we have to recruit and hire our staff kind of through our own private means. So we advertise, we post the jobs on a variety of websites, and then we go through a 3-step process for new candidates. We first have a phone interview, because you have to be both an excellent urban teacher and a project-based teacher to make it here. Some people don't have both. If you make it through the phone interview, then we bring you in person for a kind of administrative interview and a writing sample. If that all looks good, the 3rd step is a model lesson, meet with the students, meet with the staff. So it ends up being about a 9-hour interview process because we only want the best here. So I evaluate and hold my teachers accountable for student growth through a variety of means. Weekly walkthroughs give me a great sense of whether the teacher is engaging their students. If students aren't engaged, then you're not going to be able to deliver a transfer of knowledge. I want all the students engaged in the learning, and then I want to see our small groups being pulled, our kids being accelerated or remediated. Then we can look at the data. So we have the data days through professional development. Is each student making progress? Who's not making progress? What are we doing? Thirdly, in the fall, winter, and spring, I have one-on-one meetings with the staff to set professional goals. Some I choose, that we will run multiple groups in each class, and some they might choose. I want to learn more about teaching Spanish through technology, and I monitor those through our meetings. It's a small staff. I choose a small school. We only have the best here, and if towards the end of a year a teacher's not making progress, we let them know, and we might end up letting them go. So we keep the best, and we wish everyone best of luck, but if you're not making it here, we're very honest with people. So we engage parents in a variety of ways. One, we're available in the morning and afternoons. I sit in the lobby in the morning, my dean sits in the afternoon. That's the easiest way for parents to talk to us. Secondly, the front desk, that's like the heart of the school. Parents come and drop off lunch, we come pick up lunch. I carry a walkie-talkie if a parent wants to see me. So for little things, we just talk to them then. We schedule parent meetings at the first sign of concern. Since we have so much data, we triangulate it. There's generally a few students that we're concerned about, so we call a parent meeting, the student support team, and we engage them. What works for your kid? What's the history? We also have a very different kind of parent conference. We have student-led conferences in February and June. We end up having about 85% of our families come, which is much higher than most middle schools, because the student is presenting his or her portfolio. They're showing the work to the families. They're explaining the work. Next Wednesday in November, they're showing the families their MAP data. Here's how I did on the standardized test, here's what it means. We found that by having students present to their parents, dramatically increases the number of parents that are coming into the conferences. So I'm available to talk to parents every day. My primary job is parents and teachers, and then teachers teach the students. I'm in the lobby in the morning, I've got a walkie-talkie on, I'm very email accessible. 2 people might call a parent. Might be me, might be my dean of family and students, and we meet and consult every day. We want to know, did the kid get home safe on time? We want to know, do they need a new uniform? We have to know the little things, otherwise it comes out in the classroom and the kids can't focus on learning. So I'm available every day for parents.
Today, which is Friday, Monday, and Tuesday, so the next 3 class periods, we're going to be taking a teaching approach called stations. In these stations, there's going to be 2 stations in this classroom, 1 station in the breakout room, and 2 stations in Miss Angie's room. And based on some data we got from the ANET test that we did, we're sorting this into groups. And these groups are going to move from station to station. Group A, today, which is Friday, you're going to be doing stations 1 and 2. And those stations are here. So there's going to be a station 1 over here, 2 over here, 3 is in the breakout room with Ms. Nicole, 4 and 5 are in Miss Angie's room. Each station is going to be working on a slightly different topic. At 3 of the stations, at station 1, 3, and 5, Miss Nicole, Miss Angie, or I will be working directly with you. Stations 2 and 4 are independent workstations. Do you guys have questions about that? This is new for us.
You guys can still work together and help one another, because when you guys have discussions, I think it deepens your understanding of what you're doing. So in that first group is Corey, and you guys can sit back here toward the back. Corey, Kalab, David, and we can go ahead and get started. I'll get you guys your assignments in just one moment.
What's happening when you get an equivalent fraction? I share.
When you get an equivalent fraction, your even is a number that you multiply or divide by each of the numerator and the top, the numerator and the denominator to get the another fraction. But if like you go all the way down to the unit fraction, it will equal the same thing.
So what we're going to do in this third section on this sheet is we're going to find equivalent fractions, at least 2 equivalent fractions for each of the fractions listed on your page. And I'm going to challenge you to see how high you can go.
Okay. So let's keep our eyes up here. So look at my first drawing that I did. And it's on your sheet as well. Gentlemen, I did 8 squares, right? And I filled in 5 of them.
Yes.
But for Elisa, Joy, you with me? Elisa, I drew 3 squares and shaded in 2 of them. So if you were just looking at this, who would you think ate more? Giant, right? What? You would think that. But there's a problem with this first attempt that I did. The holes are different size.
Again, notice I'm doing this very carefully.
That olive color, so you see.
So what happens when wet paint is next to wet paint? It'll mix, right?
So technically polish.
Oh, on your nails? I don't know how to do that.
Okay, as we get ready to look at some things that might be hard for some of you to look at, right? Some of you guys are going to look at the data and going to be like, oh. And it's just 1 point of data. I want you to remember that, okay? All right. So I'm a firm believer that tests are really important, but what is it that tests can't tell us about you as a student, right? Elisa, what do you think?
Tests can tell like the teacher about your personality. Unless you take the test.
Absolutely. So when you see your own scores, and when we look at the MAP scores for the sample student, we're going to ask you, like, he did better than how many of the 20,000 kids that they compared this person to, okay?
Layla, please choose a tongue twister for us to warm up to. Will you read it with your best diction and articulation, please?
Tightly.
The talking turtle tickets 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 tightly.
Alright, good. Anyone go?
Amen.
Anyone want to volunteer to try it by themselves with your best diction and articulation using all your...
Argue. Show of hands, who can beat me? And I'm 33, who can beat me? I'm pretty good, okay?
Sorry, you out. Let me just tag.
Hands on your chest,
Our question is, does the amount of sugar already dissolved in water, I see you, hold on, go ahead Justin, already dissolved in water affect how fast the coating of the M&M dissolves? You at least have a sheet with you. Okay, 3 at a time, 3 at a time. Who else is ready? Show me that you're ready.
You need the measurements. That's right, you got everything? Use a square piece of paper to lay it on the plate, no sugar. Cut no sugar. Okay. That's my 1 cup. No sugar. Okay, this Sandy.
All my stuff ¿Listo o lista?
Lista.
Lista porque es chica. Muy bien.
Señor Steve es listo.
Es listo. Muy bien. Uno más, a ver.
My name is Mo Chamble Thomas. I am an 8th grade inclusion specialist here at Two Rivers. So we are an inclusion school, which means we do special education within the classroom setting. That means that students with special needs are educated amongst their peers in the classroom, and we try to do more push-in services where the special educator is in the classroom with all of the students. So that means I service everyone, and everyone is included in the learning process. So I calculated my teaching experience. I've been teaching for 9.5 years, and 4.5 of them have been here at Two Rivers. Oh, wow. The characteristics of this school that make it unique are the fact that we are a community. Students, teachers, parents are all engaged in the same process, and that's nurturing these diverse students to become lifelong active participants in their own education. I also love the community amongst teachers. We collaborate. Teachers, we are interdisciplinary in our practice, and so their social studies teacher and the science teacher are also collaborating with the special education teacher and the ELA teacher or the English teacher. And so we're all collaborating and thinking about programs and activities that are helpful to all of our students and that cover a wide variety of subject areas. The school leadership is really thoughtful in their process, especially around creating our professional development. We have a professional development program that we call the DOS Loop, and that is a data analysis strategy loop. And that's when we're looking at best practices in education. We're finding readings behind that to support that. We are looking at those readings, and then we are looking at those in terms of our own practice and whether we are doing those things or not. We are implementing those things into our classroom, and then we're looking at student data on a weekly basis, and we're analyzing whether students got what we were teaching and the way that we were teaching. And if not, then we need to make some adjustments in the classroom. And we're so heavily endowed in data and looking at that data in real time. So if students are not getting it, then I have the potential to reteach something the next day so that students are able to get the learning and the understanding that they need. How do I engage with families? We have a process called My High School Search, and we are extremely endowed in helping our parents and our families find the right choice high schools. So we are in constant communication. We have evening events. We also have what's called an advisory or a crew where I'm specifically in communication with 12 parents on a regular basis. I was just speaking to parents about homework. I was just talking to another parent about an essay for high school. So there's constant communication via email. I even text my parents sometimes during the day when they text questions or if they have anything that is concerning them. They know that they are free to call me, contact me whenever, and I'll get back to them as soon as I can with the answers.
Okay, so my name is Carolina Riveros-Renas, and I teach English in various forms, and I teach 6th grade and creative writing, language arts. I've been teaching altogether about 14 years. I've taught about 4 in high school, and then I came to Two Rivers about 10 years ago now. So. So some of the characteristics that make the school unique is that I feel like we really focus on the individual child as well as how they work with other kids. And so I feel like this real rounded approach to kind of not just teaching academics where we need to meet you, but also teaching social skills and how to work with others and in ways that are really effective and really meaningful, and that really translate to where they're going to be in kind of the world as workers and as people who are going to make a change in the future. So one of the ways that the school supports me in being a great teacher is by having all kinds of supports for teacher, but specifically I feel like Wednesdays professional development sessions are extremely helpful in really helping you develop, just like we do our kids, develop your teachers where they need most help, and really helping those areas that are, that you can work on, particularly in building your strengths as well. We engage with the families of our students in a bunch of ways. I feel like we try to do a lot of different things. There's everything from basic things like newsletters and emails and things like that, but we also, I think one of my favorite ways that we communicate learning to our students is through showcases and kind of having family learning nights, and where parents kind of get to really see the school in action. I think that's wonderful.
You're either in your art class or your drama class. Make sure you're in the right line. Voices are off. You're in that lobby. All right, show me you're ready. Great line. All right, come on in. Grab an apron.
Oh, it's pizza. I thought they had a burger.
No, Jack is black too. So you can eat any of this. It's just cheese patty. Little Caesars. You pick between Domino's and
Little Caesars is
fried off. They're really good. She gave it to me like Domino's. Have you never heard of it? Probably
Isn't that?
That's Abby.
I feel this is a high quality school because sometimes it's challenging, but the teachers help you rephrase it and do the problem in different ways and teach you how to do it when you don't know how to do it in one way, how to improvise and do it in another way. My favorite thing is seeing my friends every day and being able to hear a different perspective than my perspective of what I think of the school. My least favorite thing would be when I don't have school.
Yes, I do feel this is a high quality school because when someone needs help working on something, the teachers will come to them if they need help, and also the students will help each other. And they give like movement breaks during classes so that just in case you're feeling you need a little energy, you can do that. Yeah. My favorite thing about Two Rivers is getting to go to the YMCA every Wednesday. My least favorite thing about the school is having to go to our lockers every time every time before lunch, whenever we need our lunch bag.
I feel this is a high quality school because every year the the scores get better and the school just gets better. My favorite thing is that it feels like a community.
Those are the last shots of the day. Please put the balls up and can I get a line? David. Nice. Savion, thank you for putting that ball away. Thank you, Justin. Thank you for the lineup, Corey. Thank you. Okay, guys, what's your next class?
Spanish.
Spanish? Okay, let's have a good one. Let's make sure we get water, go to the bathroom before.
If you jump too much, you'll get too exhausted.
My name is Latoya Parnell. I currently have a daughter who attends Two Rivers. She's a 7th grader, and I have an alumni who's currently in high school. I do actually feel it's a high quality school. My daughter's been here since 1st grade, so if I didn't think that, she probably wouldn't be here. But I definitely feel it's high quality, just for the simple fact that the different programmings that they have with lab and the hours for the class time is longer, the class day is longer, and just that every classroom has at least 2 teachers. It's not one teacher and a rotating assistant teacher or anything like that, because I have experienced that in the past with my son in his previous school. So I definitely love the school and definitely feel it's high quality. I decided to apply to Two Rivers, I want to say about 8 years ago. My son was in the 2nd grade at another Capitol Hill public school, and he was going through a couple of issues with other students, bullying, and so I decided to look for another school for him, and happened to come across Two Rivers, who were in their 1st year. And we applied and were accepted, and my daughter at the time was still in kindergarten, and she begged and begged and begged to come to Two Rivers, even though she wasn't old enough just yet. So when she was old enough, I applied and she got into Two Rivers, and we've been here ever since. There's several ways that the school engages with me as a parent. One, I guess I'm the engager, because for this year I'm the middle school co-president for the PSA, and so it's my duty to get information out to the other parents of the school, to kind of be the liaison between the administration and the parents. Besides that, they email me constantly. I'm always here, so everyone knows who I am, and they just kind of reach out, and definitely they're very open, very honest, and always just, communicative.
My name is Nicole Wood, and I have 3 children who attend Two Rivers. I have a 4th grader, a 5th grader, and a 6th grader. I feel that Two Rivers is a high quality school because they are dedicated to working with children, making sure that not only are they expert thinkers, but they're complex communicators. They're really terrific in making sure that they meet students where they are, and that they push them as far forward as they possibly can. I decided to enroll my children at Two Rivers because I felt that Two Rivers was a school that was outside of the box. And being an educator myself, I felt that my children needed to be somewhere where people were not going to only take their learning into consideration, but they were going to take my children's needs, academic and socially, into consideration in teaching them as a whole child. And what I found at Two Rivers is they have actually fulfilled my family's needs beyond my expectations. I feel like my children are really thriving at this school, and that every day they enjoy coming to school because they know that it's a comfortable environment and community where they can feel safe to learn and grow as individuals. This school engages me as a parent through all the activities that they offer. Math night, literacy night. There's a high level of parental involvement in all the activities that are offered here at the school. And so I feel like I'm at a school where not only do I care about my children's needs, but because other parents care about their children's needs as well, it just makes our community that much stronger.
Alright, put your jacket on, babe.
Nope.
You guys walking home? Anybody see John text? He wanted to answer more questions in class. I like that part. It's not the level where we need it to be, but I do see growth.